to talk about one very important key question, which is the difference between MBA, MIM, and MSc. Now, most of Indian students who want to study in India, there's one program which everybody is aware of, that is MBA, or its equivalents like PGDM or PGP. But what happens when you want to study abroad? There are different kinds of programs. Especially in Europe, you have MIMs and MSCs. Now, just to clarify what is the difference between these three, I have created an Excel on my computer, which I'm going to share with you. We are going to evaluate these three programs for you on the basis of 10 or 12 different parameters like admissions criteria, difference between these three programs, what is the duration, salaries, future options, careers, and value in India. So let's start. I hope this Excel is clear to you. On the left-hand side, we have attributes and parameters on the basis of which we are going to differentiate between MBA, MIM, and MSc. So in the first row, you can see that MBA and MIM are general management programs. What do I mean by general management is that you're going to study everything: sales, marketing, finance, almost all the subjects which are taught in management are going to be there in MBA and MIM. On the other hand, MSc is going to be a specialization program. What do I mean by specialization? I mean, if you want to go for MSc Finance, then you don't really care much about supply chain or operations or maybe analytics. And that's why you want to study finance only. Now, when it comes to duration, MBA is usually 2 years. However, there are some 1 or 2 year programs as well. So I'm going to mention 1 year programs as well, but usually it's 2 years. So I'm going to highlight two. MIM, on the other hand, is basically a 2 years program, but sometimes it can be 3 years as well because the second year is a gap year. That means if you want to make it a 3 year program, what you can do is you can study for first year and third year and take a gap year to do two internships. Most of the MIMs worldwide, they do offer this choice. MSc, on the other hand, is basically a 1 year program predominantly. However, if you are a fresher, you have less than 3 years of work experience, you have 3 year degree, then you can go for 2 years MSc as well. But basically, I'm going to highlight one because it's usually a 1 year program. Regions, MBA worldwide, because MBA is a very common program across the globe, whether it's India or US or Australia. MIM is majorly found in Europe, and MSc is again majorly found in Europe. When I say Europe, I mean that you can find these programs across the globe in any other country as well. However, this section talks about predominantly which regions produce these kind of programs. Work experience. All right, for MBA, usually you need 2+ years of work experience. For example, ISB does not allow you to apply for its PGP program, which requires 2+ years of work experience. MIM is basically for 0 to 3 years of work experience. For example, if you want to study MIM at GC Paris, you need to have only 0 to 3 years of work experience. You can be a fresher, you can have less than 3 years of work experience, but you can't have more than 3 years of work experience. MSc, on the other hand, is basically for 0 to 10. By the way, what I mean by this whole video in Excel is that we are going to talk about majority of cases. There might be some MSc programs who would tell you that, you can't apply. For example, London Business School, Finance, HEC Finance, they require 1 year of work experience. But predominantly, most of the MSc programs are going to accept you if you have no experience or if you have 10 years of work experience as well. GMAT for MBA, it's almost mandatory for most of the programs. As I said, again, there might be exceptions, but I'm going to talk about most of the programs. So for MBA, you need a GMAT or a GRE. For MIM, yes. For MSc, maybe. Most of the programs do not require GMAT or GRE for MSc programs. IELTS, well, yes, it is required for all the countries. Again, for MIM, all the countries, for MSc as well, because IELTS does not really depend on the program, it depends on the countries. Except France, almost all the countries require IELTS. Rankings. MBA, if you want to check rankings, I would rather recommend you QS or Financial Times. For MIM, Financial Times is the best ranking platform. For MSCs, you have FT and Edvisory platforms to check out the rankings. Recognition. Well, all of these programs are recognized worldwide. So there is no problem whether you study MSc in Europe or MSc in Australia, they are going to be recognized worldwide, including India. Fees. MBA usually is very high. If you talk about ISB MBA, it's around 35 lakhs. If you talk about Harvard MBA, it's about 1 crore. So MBAs are expensive. MIM, yes, it is again very high compared to the Indian MBA, because if you want to do MIM in Europe, let's say at LBS or MIM at HEC, you are still going to shell out close to 30 to 40 lakhs in MIM. MSc is less expensive. I would rather not mention cheap and mention affordable, because MSc programs, they start from, let's say, 10 lakhs, and the average cost is around 15 lakhs. If you talk about Kedge Business School in France, Neoma Business School in France, ESMT Berlin, HHL Leipzig in Germany, you have a Warwick, Nottingham in the UK. All of these countries, they offer programs which are very affordable, and they range from 10 to 20 lakhs. That's why the average cost is around 15. Salaries, well, MBA, they are expensive, so the wages are also very high. If you compare the salaries of top two top two MBA programs like Harvard and INSEAD, one in US, one in Europe, the MBA salaries are close to 100,000 USD or equivalent. MIM, again, it's quite high. So I'm going to mention some figures as well. So it would be around 50K in Europe, all right? And for MBA, it can be 100K in US or Europe. When it comes to MSCs, the average salaries, they vary from country to country. In France, it's going to be around 40K, right? In Germany, again, it's going to be around 35 to 40K, but the average salaries in Europe are going to be 40K. So that's why I'm going to mention that here. Career options. Well, after MBA, you can be in senior management. Well, again, a lot of factors play a very important role when it comes to the career choices and the career positions that you might have. So again, but if you have MBA from a top tier university, you can directly enter senior management or middle level management. But MIM is basically for junior management, because you are technically doing a junior MBA, right? You have 0 year so work experience. You're going for a general management program. You start from junior management. MSc varies. You can be in junior or mid-level management, again, depending on years of work experience. It does not really depend on the program. It depends on your profile. If you have 10 years of work experience in the MSc and only 2 years of work experience in MBA, you still can have a senior level management job after doing an MSc. Top schools, well, the final section. If I talk about top schools for MBA, it would be Harvard, it would be Yale, it can be Oxford. But again, there are many colleges and many in many locations, so you can just go for MBA there. MIM, as I said, predominantly in Europe, so I would rather mention top schools and find MIM from Europe. In fact, if you Google the top 20 or top 25 or top 100 MIM programs in Europe, or worldwide, you would still find close to 70% of the MIM programs are European programs. So the top schools would be HEC, LBS. I would rather mention INSEAD as well, because INSEAD recently launched their MIM program a couple of years ago. MSCs, well, I would mention Grand Écoles in France and top 20 in UK. These are going to be the most preferred choices for Indian students. But again, I have only mentioned references, and there are many other colleges in many countries that offer these programs. So I hope now you have a clear idea about MBA, MIM, and MSc. I'm going to put this again in the description so you can download it or take a screenshot of it. But once again, summarizing, MBA is for people who have more than 2 years of work experience. MIM is for people who have less than 3 years of work experience. And MSCs, irrespective of the work experience, depend on your interest of the job that you want to do or the area that you want to have a career in or you want to study. So if you want to go for a specialized study, go for MSc. If you want to go for the general management, go for MBA or MIM. All right, I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions, any doubts still related to MBA or MIM or MSc, put them down in the comment section. I am going to ensure that I personally answer each and every question.